Leveraging on technology in carbon storage. Flood evacuation center updates, and MERDEKA Palace back to its former glory. Bringing you the eye on the news tonight, you're now with me, Sholchameto, and this is TVS Nightline. Hyperspectral imaging is a technology that allows the collection and analysis of detailed information about an object or a scene based on its reflectance or emission in different parts of the electromagnetic spectrum. As such, hyperspectral imaging can be used to monitor carbon storage sites to ensure that the CO2 is securely contained and not leaking into the atmosphere. Premier Sarawak Dato' Padigi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said this when signing a Memorandum of Understanding MOU between Malaysian Space Agency, MISA, and the Department of Land and Survey Sarawak at a dinner ceremony held at Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching, BCCK, earlier. And for more insights, we have our reporter on the ground, Lorenzo Isaac, to give us the update. Go ahead, Lorenzo.
Thank you, Cheryl. Currently, I'm at the Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching, BCCK, whereby our Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Padigi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, has just recently signed a Memorandum of Understanding between Malaysian Space Agency and the Department of Land and Survey Sarawak, whereby he will be talking on the initiative that has been launched by the state government and how the efforts has been intensifying in promoting green technology and sustainable development in the state. One of the key components, he said, is this initiative is to increase carbon storage in Sarawak by conserving its forest, peatlands and other ecosystem. The initiative aims to achieve this goal by promoting sustainable land use practices such as agroforestry and sustainable forestry, and by encouraging the development of new technologies that can improve carbon storage. As such, he said that carbon storage in Sarawak refers to the amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases that are stored in the forests, peatlands and other ecosystems of the state in Sarawak. He also revealed that Sarawak is home to some of the world's largest tropical rainforests, which plays a critical role in Malaysia by absorbing carbon dioxide from atmosphere and storing it as organic matter in trees, soils and other vegetation. The state, he said, also contains vast peatlands and store large amounts of carbon which can be released into the atmosphere if these ecosystems are disturbed or destroyed. So to promote this, he said, and to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, Sarawak has implemented various initiatives aimed at conserving its forests and peatlands and promoting sustainable land use practices. As such, during the speech that he has just mentioned recently regarding carbon storage hyperspectral imaging technology is a remote sensing method used to measure and map the amount of carbon stored in forests, peatlands and other ecosystems. This technology, he revealed, works by collecting data from electromagnetic spectrum, which include both visible and non-visible light, and using algorithms to analyze the data and determine the amount of carbon stored in different parts of an ecosystem. Hyperspectral imaging technology, he said, is a powerful tool for carbon accounting as it can provide high resolution, accurate and up-to-date information about carbon stocks at a relatively low cost compared to traditional methods. So far, these are all the infos that I have for today. We return to the studio. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm Lorenzo Isaac and videographer Ahmad Nasrullah reporting for TVS Kuching.
Thank you, Lorenzo, for that update. Now moving on. Continuous heavy rain on Thursday night witnessed flood levels to rise in some areas in Padawan, forcing a temporary evacuation center (PPS) to be set up on Friday morning. Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC) through a statement informed, so far 32 families involving 158 people have been evacuated to the flood relief centers at Sekolah Kebangsaan SK St. Peter in Kampong Simpor, Padawan. Now for more details, we have our reporter Camilla Yunus reporting from the site. Camilla, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Cheryl. According to a person in charge in this flood relief center, it was set up on 6 o'clock in the morning as the victims started gathered in SK St. Peter on 4 o'clock in the morning. And as of 2 o'clock this afternoon, a total of 32 families were evacuated here, making total of 158 victims. And we can see a decrease of 10 families here, where according to a statement by Sarawak Disaster Management Committee, SDMC, a total of 42 families were evacuated as early as 8 o'clock in the morning. And for your information to Cheryl, Puncak Borneo Parliamentary Member Datuk Willy Mongin arrived on 11 o'clock in the morning, while Councillor Nicholas Jap and Raymond Jangan, representing Tarat incumbent and Sarawak Minister for Education, Innovation and Talent Development, Datuk Roland Sagawiin, arrived on 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A little sharing to Cheryl, according to the Assistant Community Development Officer of Social Welfare Department, JKM Serian, the JKM have distributed aid such as food, hygiene kit, pillows and mattress. And that is all I can share for now, but feel free to head on to our official website, tvstv.my, and social media platform for the latest updates. Camilla Yunus and videographer Fikri Raza for TVS. Over to you, Cheryl.
And that was the update from Camilla Yunus, our reporter from the site on the PPS earlier tonight. Now, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Port Development, MIPD, has been tasked to lead the discussion with the Ministry of Transport, MOT, in Putrajaya over the state's intention to take back the Bintulu port. The port is now a federal port under the MOT. Its Minister, Dr. Ahmad Douglas Uga Ambassador, Premier of Sarawak, Dr. Patigi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, gave the directive during the monthly State Cabinet meeting on Thursday, February 2nd. Uga said this last night during the ministry's Chinese New Year 2023 gathering at a local hotel. The state government wanted the Bintulu port to be part of the cluster of state ports under a central port authority, which will be incorporated by state law. Uga added another big task for the ministry is to come up with the Sarawak Port Master Plan. The study, costing 4 million ringgit, aimed at improving and enhancing the efficiency of port services and port security through the installation of a vessel traffic management system, aids to navigation, facility, crane, dredging works, and exploring new business opportunities to be piloted at Miri Port Authority. On another issue, Uga stressed that the ministry and all agencies under it had still a lot to do this year. On the ministry performance last year, Uga said out of the 7.724 million ringgit operating expenditure, it managed to spend 7.548 million ringgit or 97.71%. However, on the development expenditure, out of the 942.991 million ringgit allocated, it had spent 642.751 million ringgit or 68.16%. The redevelopment of Bukit Asih will be done in stages. Deputy Premier Datuk Sri Dr. Sim Kui Hian said local and international consultants will work together to ensure smooth execution.
He added, the government through the Land Custody and Development Authority LCDA has consulted with international advisors to solve the drainage issue that has been causing floods. Elaborating further, Dr. Sim stressed that it is crucial to involve international consultants as the project is large-scale and requires foreign expertise.
This international consulting company called Rainbow, and then some government through the LCDA has engaged them because we realize that for Bukit Asset or Cebu urban renewal, the number one thing that we must settle is flooding. We must settle the floods and how the water can get out and so on. So once this is done, then the earlier plan or master plan, then they can sit on top of the flood. Once we need to solve the flood first, and then the master plan is ready. But the master plan, unfortunately, locally, we don't have such a good expert in terms of flood mitigation. Yeah.
He said during his speech at the Chinese New Year celebrations of 5 branches of the Sarawak United People's Party SUPP at the Civic Centre last night. For the record, Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg has allocated funds worth 1 billion ringgit, which involve a large part of the Cebu area.
Meanwhile, commenting on the increased revenue of Sarawak for year 2022 has enabled the state to channel aid to Bantuan Khas Sarawak Kusayang BKSS in benefiting the people. This was proven through the 5 to 25% discounted electricity bill for 6 months for domestic, commercial and industry players. He added the electricity tariff rate in Sarawak is cheaper compared to countries abroad such as London and Singapore.
Kalau tidak Sarawak ada banyak duit, baru boleh berkongsi loh. Itu electricity bill baru boleh kasih terus discount. Mana negeri lain ada? Satu unit electricity di London berapa? 40 pence. 40 pence 2 ringgit. Sarawak 25 sen kasih discount lagi. Singapura berapa? 1 ringgit.
In addition, the discount given will bring benefits to the people as well as business communities in facing economic challenges, as well as reducing the cost of businesses.
Corporate companies have been urged to ensure that at least 30% of their decision makers are women, as the percentage is still low compared to the public sector. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Dato' Sri Nancy Shukri said the percentage of women representation in decision-making positions in the public sector has exceeded the target at 38%.
Nancy added that the Women Leadership Foundation WLF possesses the data of women in Malaysia who have the necessary qualifications.
Cuma in terms of participation among the women dalam kerajaan kita dah capai dan kita akan bekerjasama. That's why we work together with NGOs untuk pastikan kita punya pressure tu dirasai oleh kumpulan-kumpulan macam corporate sectors, kita mahu supaya pressure kita tu dapat dirasai mereka.
She said at a media conference held in conjunction with the breakfast conversations with Dato' Sri Nancy Shukri program. Meanwhile, WLF Chairman Dato' Dr. Hafsah Hashim said last year, only 22% of decision makers in public listed companies were women, adding that the 30% target should be made a policy to ensure companies will strive to achieve it.
Kalau kita dapatkan jadikannya sebagai satu dasar, right, bahawa setiap syarikat-syarikat yang tersenarai kena ada sekurang-kurangnya satu ahli lembaga wanita, itu adalah satu permulaan untuk kita mencapai kepada sasaran 30%. Dan saya percaya kalau ini boleh dijadikan sebagai dasar daripada kerajaan, kita akan bergerak pantas selepas ini.
In 2022, only 22% women have been given the mandate to uphold the positions in public listed companies PLC.
Coming up right after the break, consumers welcome electricity bill discount and Chinese spy balloon detected over US states. Right here on TVS Nightline, stay tuned. Welcome back to the Nightline. Sarawak government's initiative on the electricity bill discount extension is conducted at the right time as the economy is still in its recovery stage. President of the Federation of Chinese Associations of Kuching, Samarahan and Serian, Dr. Richard Wee Liang Chiat, commented that this is crucial due to uncertainties in the global economy.
Commenting further, we said that with initiatives in the future, this will lighten the burden of business communities, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Although it's already more or less over, everybody's opening up the economy and all that, but most of them are still having the recovering stage. It may take a bit of time to get back to what is pre-COVID situation. But there is also a fear that, this year may not be a very good year economically. The economy is not very strong. The world economy is affected by the war and all the inflation.
We said this when contacted by TVS on Friday. Now, on Thursday, Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, announced a discount of 5 to 25% on electricity bills under the Bantuan Khas Sarawak Kusayang BKSS assistance to aid domestic users and traders as efforts to alleviate the burden of the people post-COVID-19.
In regards to the extension of the electric bill discount, many shared their relief on the aid in easing their finances. Now here's what the locals have to say.
As a business owner, I feel like this 25% discount on the electricity bill will definitely help the rakyat. Especially I feel it as it will definitely be easier for us lah. So thank you very much to the Sarawak government for this initiative.
I think it's great. I think Abang Jo has been doing this initiative through BKSS for the last, ever since the pandemic. I think it's really helped my business with cash flow. I think it's really helped us maintain to survive through the pandemic. Even now, as we are still recovering for economy, even for our business also, we are still struggling to get back on track. But it has been very helpful in being able to allow us to sort of continue to survive and sustain and hopefully be able to pull through this period together with everyone.
Jadi bagi saya seorang pelajar yang menetap sendiri di luar, pengurangan pembayaran bil elektrik yang diberikan oleh Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak ni sedikit sebanyak dapat membantu mengurangkan kos perbelanjaan saya lah. Jadi saya juga percaya dia akan memberikan banyak manfaat kepada mereka yang berada di luar sana, orang ramai di luar sana, terutamanya yang kurang berkemampuan.
Saya rasa lah ini memang bagus lah sebab especially after pandemic semua last few months si senang lah untuk tahan, especially when you own a home then your whole family at home, everyone use electric mah. So a bit susah lah if we go back to original price. So I think this is a good announcement lah, very helpful.
Bagi aku memang manah because aku memang nolong apa inday ko, nolong mayar bill, meli utay pakai ga. So with this 25%, it really helps me to mengurangkan beban bagi aku lah.
Malaysia's budget 2023, scheduled to be retabled on February 24, is expected to be based on the current global and domestic state of affairs. World Bank Group's lead economist for Malaysia, Dr. Apurva Sanghi, said the global and domestic economies have changed significantly from when the last budget was announced in October last year, in terms of the global and Malaysian inflationary landscape, among others.
So we'll have a more up-to-date analysis and hence policy measures because of that. Beyond that, I think even if it's a new government, we would expect that this budget, it would adhere to the 12th Malaysia Plan's objectives. Right? So that the 12th Malaysia Plan was an important policy document that was put out. It identified in particular digitalization and sustainability as drivers of growth, new drivers of growth for Malaysia to tap into. So you would expect that this budget would support, continue supporting, or would adhere to the 12th Malaysia plans, particularly in these two areas.
He said the government is also expected to increase the allocation for digitalization efforts, particularly for small and medium enterprises, SMEs, in terms of incentives. Now, on the introduction of a new tax-based system, Apurva said the need to introduce a new system has been there for the past 10 years, noting that Malaysia has, in some ways, benefited from being a commodity exporter when the prices were high.
The Sabah government welcomes the Spanish court decision to dismiss an appeal by alleged heirs of Sulu Sultan in relation to their compensation claims over Sabah. Sabah Chief Minister Dato Sri Haji Jinor said the dismissal shows that the claims are baseless.
Kita cukup senang hati kerana tuntutan yang telah dikemukakan itu telah pun dibatalkan oleh pihak yang berkenaan di Spain dan juga di Perancis. Jadi ini menunjukkan bahawa tuntutan itu tidak berasas sama sekali. Jadi ini amat menyenangkan perasaan rakyat Sabah dan juga kerajaan kita.
Hajiji added that he leaves it to the federal government to resolve this issue for the well-being of the people of the Sabah state.
Memang kita serahkan kepada Kementerian Luar Negeri dan juga pihak menteri yang bertanggungjawab, Menteri Undang-Undang, untuk dapat menyelesaikan masalah ini dengan baik dan selama-lamanya.
He said this during the handover of four-wheel drive vehicles for the 21 Community Development Leaders UPPM unit offices at Menara Kinabalu on Friday, February 3rd. Previously, the Spanish Constitutional Court rejected the extraordinary constitutional appeal filed by a group of individuals styling themselves as the heirs of the Sultan of Sulu or claimants against the annulment of Stampa's appointment as arbitrator in the case. Following that, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department of Law and Institutional Reform, Dato Sri Azalina Othman, said the government had received official confirmation that the constitutional appeal filed by the claimants has been rejected and that, as a result, the annulment of Stampa's appointment, which was already final and binding, has also been confirmed by the Spanish Constitutional Court. Thank you for staying with me. And now on to our world affairs. The U.S. is tracking a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon that has been spotted flying over sensitive sites in recent days. Defense officials said they were confident the high-altitude surveillance balloon belonged to China.
U.S. officials said the object flew over Alaska's Aleutian Islands and through Canada before appearing over the city of Billings in Montana on Wednesday. Montana is home to one of only 3 nuclear missile silo fields in the country. According to the officials, the apparent spycraft was flying over sensitive sites to collect information. The military decided against shooting it down in case debris falls. The Defense Department, in a statement, said the balloon is unlikely to give much more information than China can already collect using satellites. Canada said on Friday that it was monitoring a potential second incident involving a surveillance balloon, but did not say which country could be behind it. It said in a statement that it is working closely with the U.S. to safeguard Canada's sensitive information from foreign intelligence threats. Now, meanwhile, China warned against speculation and hype until the facts are verified.
And police in Assam have arrested more than 1,800 men for marrying or arranging marriages to underage girls. The Eastern Indian State's Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said it was the start of sustained crackdown on the practice.
Police began the arrests on Thursday night, and more were likely, including of people helping to register such marriages in temples and mosques. Sarma said child marriage is the primary reason behind child pregnancy, which in turn is responsible for high maternal and infant mortality rates. Marriage under 18 is illegal in India, but the law is openly flouted. The United Nations estimates that the country is home to the largest number of child brides in the world, at around 223 million. UN Children's Agency UNICEF said nearly 1.5 million underage girls get married there every year. Sarma added there were men from all faiths and communities who were arrested for this heinous social crime, from Muslims to Hindus, Christians, tribal people to those belonging to the tea garden communities. He further said the Assam government has registered cases related to child marriage against 4,004 people.
That's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. I'm Shel Shameto. Thank you for watching.